From afternoon tea in the UK to morning coffee in the US, welcome to Foodies Across the Pond with Jane Raven and Lisa Siegel. Hello and good morning, Jane.
Good evening, Lisa. Oh yes, hang on. No, I can't.
Cheers.
There we go.
There
My
go.
Harry Potter mug.
Love your Harry Potter mug. Oh my gosh, look how cute that is.
Isn't it cute? This interview is with a lady called Claire Trumper, who runs Trumper's Tea. And I met Claire at a food festival event. But she is a lovely person. We had a hoot. But she is very knowledgeable when it comes to tea, comes to the different types of tea and how to make it and how to slurp it. This is going out in 2 segments. This is the first one, which is all about tea tasting and what I've just mentioned. The next one is coming along, which is a little bit more boozy.
Ooh, you know me and booze. I love you.
I do. You get quite a few mentions in it, Lisa.
Oh, love it.
Over to Jane and Claire in Jane's kitchen, doing a lot of clanking.
Here we go.
We have done. Right. This morning, we're going to taste just a range of different teas, but doing it the tea taster way.
Okay.
But the leaf has gone in there, water's gone in, put the top on, and eventually, after 6 minutes, so it's all done in a controlled way, so everything you're tasting is done in a formalised way. The water will be tipped into the bowl, and drained.
Hence the little. Can I show you?
Hence the little, yeah, absolutely.
That sounded like really professional.
Yeah.
Look, it's got little notches. I don't know how we do that, so you can see it. But it's got little notches on the edge of the cup.
Yeah. So that allows you to drain it.
So it goes like that in there.
Goes in there like.
Okay. Yeah.
So. Oh dear.
I've never done tea tasting
No,
before,
no.
so
Not many people have.
Yeah.
It is, it's sort of something I've just got used to it. I worked for Tetley in my young days.
taking over. It's
I-
brilliant. Did you?
I did.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you because
No,
otherwise
please do,
I
because
can't
we've
carry
got
on
5
talking about
minutes.
these. Well, yes, but these came to me because of my work with Tetley. So that's how I sort of started. So working for Tetley as a tea taster buyer was my role. I used to taste 1,000 cups of tea a day. So just doing 6 this morning is nothing. So that's all I was going to say.
Did you never get bored with tasting
Never.
tea?
Never.
Were
No,
you
no,
a
no.
fan of tea before you became a tea
No,
taster?
just gin. So no. Tea. I've always drunk tea, and my main griff is tea bags versus loose leaf tea.
This is an interesting one because I'm a bit of a heathen. I mean, I am a tea drinker. I wake up in the morning and it's tea that I go to, but I just stick the tea bag.
Convenient.
Yeah.
You think?
Well, habit.
Habit. Yeah. So it's breaking people's habit. But the tea bag will always have very, very small particles of tea in it, because to get the tea into the tea bag, you've got to cut the leaf. Instead of having something nice and large like this, I don't know whether you want to take that up to the camera, that looks a little bit like tobacco.
Yeah, it does.
That
I can see that.
is a leaf that's been rolled and slightly cut, but not
We need smelly vision.
not chopped down to beyond belief.
Where does it belong?
Well, it could just go there. Sorry, I'm a messy tea drinker. But to get your tea into a tea bag, it's got to be chopped down in the tea making process. And in doing that, the leaf is then exposed to the air, it oxidizes, and you lose all these wonderful flavours.
Now that's
So-
an interesting point because we've just filled up the kettle. I'd
Yeah.
already filled up the kettle first thing this morning, but you
Yeah.
said no, we need to put fresh in because
Sorry,
it
Jane.
needs oxygen in it.
Yes. So to make a really good cup of tea, at home, always start with tipping out the water from your kettle. Go and water the plants or put it on your compost heap or whatever.
Yeah.
But please start with freshly drawn cold water.
Aerated
That's
water.
Yeah, that's got oxygen in it,
Okay.
and it will just look much brighter in cup.
Well, that's my first lesson of the
well,
day.
yeah.
Because I didn't know that. So
There you go.
I'm so excited to taste that.
Yeah. So when I was training, I was looking for flavour, but also anything that was wrong with the tea. And so it gave me the opportunity.
The tea's leaves have gone mouldy, or?
Could be, but more importantly in transit. So it's had 12 weeks on the water in a container with a whole load of other products on the vessel that it's coming across with. So bananas is the favourite. Tea picks up, it's hygroscopic, it's still got a certain amount of water in it. Anything that's
So it'll
5 to
absorb,
6%.
and of course bananas are notorious. So.
Yeah. So the other great one is, you know, at home, when you put your tea in the shopping bag, you quite often put it next to the personal automatic in your bag without thinking about it. And again, by the time you've got it home, tea picks up flavours really quickly.
Going from.
We're going to talk about the English breakfast first.
Okay, you go there then.
So the English breakfast, this little chap here, is a blend. Every tea company. Can I take it to you?
Yeah.
So every tea company
Up it, that's it.
has a different blend. Our English breakfast is a blend of 4 different teas. So we've got the mainstay is the Kenyan tea, which is a bright. The reason for blending is that you have to try and take out the good bits of each tea. It's a bit like cooking, but then dull out the things that you don't want from it. Can you get in there?
I didn't want to open the packet.
Okay, you can open it. So the Kenyan tea offers brightness in cup. The Ceylon tea that we blend into it adds this sort of citrus flavour, a real sort of lemon flavour, but it's very dull in the cup, so that's why the Kenyan's in there. It balances out. Yeah, lovely. And then we have an Assam tea, which is that real sort of malty character, and then your Darjeeling again is flavoured. So English breakfast is made up of 4 different teas. So everybody has a different blend.
Okay.
This is our blend, most often taken with milk, but as a tea taster, you would taste black. You wouldn't put milk in.
Should you put milk in? Is it a bit of a naughty thing to do?
No,
Does it kill
not
the
at all.
flavour?
I think
Okay.
the customer's always right. And milk is absolutely acceptable. I think the vast majority of people taste with milk.
Okay.
And so after we tasted black, we would then go in and put milk in it, just to see how it looked in cup. But the whole reason for bringing me along today is just do a bit of slurping. And normally I'd be spitting, but I won't. But I was, yeah. It's okay.
I was a bit worried because there wasn't a bowl for the spitting.
No.
I'm thinking, oh no!
And we needed that nice sort of sound. But anyway, let's go for a bit of slurping. The whole idea is a nice broad soup type spoon thing. Big spoon. So that you can slurp in those flavours and try and splash the tea onto the top and the back of your mouth, which is where most of your, without choking, which is where most of your taste buds are.
And this English breakfast, have you blended this?
Yes, I have. With these, hardly. Right, so take a big spoonful. You ready?
Oh, right.
After
so
3.
Okay.
1.
Get
All the things that your granny said never to do with your soup. 1, 2, 3.
That didn't work.
It was going to happen,
Very
wasn't it?
nice. How did you manage to slurp and spit? Because it's just propelled itself down your throat.
Ah, it's a joy.
Sharing our bugs.
Yeah.
Right.
Go on, Joe. Go on, girl. Oh dear.
Yeah, it's not working, but
No, it's
by
fine.
rule number 6
What do you
will be
think?
fine. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it to the point where I could drink that black, and I've never had black tea.
Great.
Not a sort of breakfast blend. What's that telling you as you're sniffing it?
It tells me that it's a great blend. It isn't too harsh, isn't too dry.
No, it's not.
People put milk in to take that dryness away. You don't need that. Yes.
When you're
Yes.
picking your teas to put in it, do you go to the tea plantations?
Yes. Tea plantations, tea
Um,
estates.
Annually or?
I haven't travelled as much recently, not just COVID, but I used to travel every year, probably half a dozen times a year.
How amazing.
But I'm going back a bit really. We started this over 10 years ago now, and I've got my set producers that I buy from, predominantly smallholder farmers.
Oh.
And they're families that I've known and worked with in the past. And so I've got a feeling that I know when I'm tasting these teas where they're from.
Wow.
And
That's
whatever.
one step beyond free trade, isn't it, really?
Yes. Yeah, it's just fun trade. There's a connection. As far as I'm concerned,
It's
it's all
lovely.
about the connection. So I put you an Earl Grey on, which is a lovely tea that we've used a South Indian base, which is quite citrusy anyway.
Yeah.
And then we've put an oil of bergamot on it. So there's
Oh,
no flavour
right.
granules in this. Everything we've got here is 100% natural, no artificial
Wow.
additives.
Okay.
So your fruits, your flavours, they're all real. So please try the. Do you like Earl Grey?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. I think it's coming around again. The younger generation are coming back into it.
I'm getting better.
You're
but I'm
doing
swallowing
really
it very
well.
quickly.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Now that is really mellow.
Yes, no.
And do you know what I'm really getting about this? I don't know about people watching this, but when you have a cup of tea, sometimes you can be left with that tannin in your
Yes.
mouth. That's
Yeah.
almost like a coarseness on the roof of your mouth.
Hmm.
You don't get that at all.
No. But that, you see, when you haven't,
going in.
you are looking at the whole leaf. I can't say this strongly enough. That is the whole green leaf that's been plucked, the top 2 leaves in a bud. It's then rolled in a beautiful old-fashioned orthodox production. That has got all the flavours stuck inside that leaf, and then it's got this beautiful organic bergamot oil put onto it. And so it hasn't had anything bad done to it. You start cutting that up, you get that dryness from the oxidation.
God, it smells lovely.
So that is layers of green tea,
Mm-hmm.
and then the jasmine flower
What
is laid in between.
green tea is young tea, is it?
No, green tea, all the teas are made from the same plant, so
Okay.
they're all from Camellia sinensis. Whether that's black, greens, oolongs, whites, whatever, they're all Camellia sinensis.
Okay.
So the same as camellia you grow in your garden.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's just
Same family.
Same family, yeah, Camellia sinensis. When tea is plucked, the top 2 leaves in the bud, off with your tea bush, that goes through a manufacturing process in the factory, and the first stage is a drying before you wither it and get all the moisture out. And at that point, you stop all production, put it in a dryer, and you stop any oxidation process, and the leaf stays green.
Fab.
If you oxidise the leaf, you get black tea. So that's a green tea. So same stage of.
Now I've never
growth.
got on with green tea, so this will be interesting.
Oh dear, no, I don't. You'll get the
It's
jasmine
your
flavour
special spoon.
beautifully.
I get
Because
the
that
jasmine
is
smell.
stronger than you would make that at home. But again, it allows you to get the flavours. Ooh. Yeah?
Mm.
So for a green tea, that isn't, again, too sort of harsh on the mouth. And you get the flavour.
No, that's lovely. I'm converted.
Oh yeah, good. Right, so our next one, a bit of colour, was a nice red one. This is our fruity tea.
Yeah.
This is our orange, rosehip and hibiscus. So as you can see,
Lovely.
And that's all dried, 100% natural product.
And hibiscus is quite tart because I used
Yes.
to put hibiscus into a, I can't remember if it was a jam or what it was,
Right.
and it is really sharp, isn't
Okay.
it?
Yes. Round that off with a bit of rosehip. It sort of smooths it a little bit,
Okay.
but the orange again brings it back to tartness. But fruit teas tend to smell fantastic, I always think, and then the taste is disappointing. Whereas I don't think this smells as great as it tastes because there's no sugar in there, so there's no
Something to absorb
there's no
the smell.
smell that's coming out. So just have a
So
go.
the
and see
smell
what you
is trapped in
think.
into the dried fruit,
Yeah,
and the water releases it.
yes. Try it.
Interesting.
I think if you smell that,
Yeah,
when
it's
you
not
taste
much there. I'm getting there. Very bad slurping going on.
have a smell. It doesn't smell of anything. I don't think, particularly.
It smells clean, is what
Yes,
it
it
smells.
does smell clean. Yeah.
If that makes sense. I just am in awe of your slurping. I aspire to be a
But
slurper.
I think that's got a real warmth and a real depth of flavour, but still 100% natural product. No tea in there, obviously. No camellia. So again, people talk about peppermint tea, fruit tea. It's not camellia, it's not tea, it's an infusion. It's a tisane. The next one is a rooibos, which is our, again, not a tea. It's an infusion. It's South Africa, only grows in the Cederberg Mountains of South Africa.
I don't know where that is, but it's really
it's on
ready.
the southwest coast
It's like
of
an
South Africa.
amber.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and the smell is like
Smoky bonfires I
Yeah.
get from that.
it's sort of almost cigar boxes.
Hickory smoky
Oh,
bonfires.
Nice. Yeah. So
I might not be able to slurp, but I can describe.
this has no caffeine in it, so
Oh,
you can
right.
add milk to this, and that is our decaffeinated product
Right.
that stands in a restaurant offering.
Why would it not have caffeine in it?
It's a grass. It's not the
Ah.
camellia.
Right. How
So just being a
interesting.
grass, it's just as it is. It naturally no caffeine, and so but it's strong enough. It's got body enough to take milk.
And I think this would be because I've got to that age where I like my coffees, but I can't drink a coffee after midday, for instance,
Right.
because it will keep me up.
Right.
It will keep me awake. So I'll often go for a decaffeinated coffee or tea at the end of the meal.
And I did with this one just for fun because this has been on our social media recently, and you picked it up. This is our newest member of the family, which is a bit wacky. I'm trying to follow the sort of younger market because that's obviously what I am. Lemongrass, apple, mint, and licorice.
So we've got the anise coming through.
Yes.
My hair is sorry, I've got
How about-
lockdown hair.
No, have a smell of that.
Oh wow.
And then,
Oh, that's got so many levels on
yes,
it.
it has. Now that's fantastic in cooking if you can infuse
Oh, right,
that.
okay.
So all of these teas.
Oh, that would make a wonderful what's the word? Like milk mousse.
Oh, lovely.
What's the word I'm looking? Panna cotta.
Panna cotta. Yeah.
Oh,
People traditionally use the
love
green.
that.
The jasmine makes lovely panna cotta. So this one.
Yes,
Anything
I like
with
that
that
one.
sort of
Okay.
that aroma, it sort of carries through, doesn't it? But
But that's got levels that roll.
that. Just be careful. That is quite strong.
No, it's fine for me.
Okay, cool.
I
I
love
just
it.
didn't want it hitting the back of your throat and going, aha.
No, I love it.
Good. Beauty, I can't stress it enough. The beauty of drinking loose leaf tea at home is that if you like a couple of different ones, not only do you change your tea throughout the day, but you can actually do your own home blending. So there's a lot of people that like the lapsang, which is a smoky tea, and they put that with their English breakfast in the morning. Apparently that's a real traditional morning drink. Yeah, so there we go. It's all these wacky things. Cool. Excellent. Well,
Lovely,
thank you.
Our pleasure. So,
Oh my gosh.
what do you think?
That was amazing. I have never met anyone that knows so much about tea. Claire is like an encyclopedia of tea. That was fascinating, and especially I love rooibos. It's one of my favorite. If I'm gonna drink decaffeinated tea, I do love a good rooibos tea. And I had no idea that it was a grass.
Well, there you are. I mean, I was completely ignorant on this one, and you will be so excited about the next part because she has infused that through some vodka for the cocktail. And the cocktail. I'm not a drinker, but it was really good, really good. So fascinating. I mean, there was loads more that we spoke about off camera. She's a lovely person. I hope that came. Okay, so
should we get to the kitchen then and get cooking with some of those gorgeous teas?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Well, hello again. We're in our kitchens now. Do the magic. Do the magic of
as if by
magic.
magic.
Exactly. All right, so super excited we get to work with Trumper's tea today. So I have chosen to work of all her gorgeous flavors. I'm doing Earl Grey and I'm working with the chai, which both of these, I mean, can we just appreciate not only the gorgeousness of like the packaging is spectacularly gorgeous, but I mean the fragrance, and look at how this is the chai. I mean, absolute.
It smells divine, doesn't it? I'm completely won over by chai.
I did 2 infusions. So I made a simple syrup with the Earl Grey, which is this gorgeous like amber color. So, and I have chopped up some strawberries, some fresh strawberries. I'm going to cook them a little bit in the simple syrup. And there's a recipe for a citrus olive oil cake on my website. So this is kind of a version of the strawberries I do for that. But these strawberries will be delicious on anything. Like you literally just eat them as is. You can put them over granola, over ice cream, over pound cake, over waffles, pancakes, whatever. They're so good.
Yeah.
A really good use of strawberry. Well, exactly. Oh, ice cream with a little caramel sauce.
Or on a pavlova would be delicious.
Pavlova would be really good too. It's like an endless, and it's a really good way to use strawberries too that have maybe been in your fridge for a little long and are starting to be shriveled, not moldy, but shriveled, and aren't as fresh as they once were. It's also a great way to use strawberries that have the green. I was going to show a little tip for knowing whether your strawberries are sweet or not. Is you want strawberries to be red, like all around. Like this is a gorgeous. That's a gorgeous. You want them to be a lovely, gorgeous red. I'm grabbing, this is probably, I don't know if it's quite a cup, but I'll show you. I'm just got a little small sauce pot. I think it's probably a little bit shy of a cup. And then I'm going to.
So that would be, I would guess about 8 ounces or 200 grams.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do like about a quarter. Now you can do like less or more, depending on, I'm doing just shy of a quarter cup. Just shy, not quite a quarter cup.
Okay.
Because these are.
Does it smell of the chai? Is it cold and it smells of chai?
It smells of the chai. This is not the chai. This is the Earl Grey. So I've got.
The Earl Grey. Sorry.
The chai is for some cream. And it's gotten a little bit darker. I simmered it a little bit and then just let it to cool. And it definitely smells like chai, but this definitely smells like Earl Grey. I kept tasting it, trying to see what the color would look like. I like the darker color because Earl Grey is a more mild flavored tea. So I wanted to kind of give it that little oomph. So just pour.
It was really interesting what she had to say, Claire had to say about how it's flavored with the bergamot. That in the more commercial ones, it's added to saccharin or into the crystals. Right. And I was really flabbergasted at that. I didn't know that, but it makes sense. And it makes sense with fruit teas as well, because when you drink them, they're so sweet.
Exactly.
And that's why.
I love that. So much more. She is like a wealth of knowledge about tea.
Yeah. I think we just chipped the surface as well.
That's what it looks like now. So like I said, probably I would say probably maybe even more like 6 ounces of the strawberries. I don't think it's quite 8 ounces. About 6 ounces of strawberries, a little less than a quarter cup. You can use more if you have strawberries that really aren't very ripe. You can certainly use more. Because these are on the ripe side, I use a little bit less. Because you want the simple syrup to enhance the strawberries and not like overwhelm them. You want them to be kind of like this beautiful dance.
How long will those need to simmer for, Lisa?
I usually simmer them for about 10 minutes. I usually find
not long.
Not very long. It depends on what texture you want. If you want more kind of a jammy consistency, go longer. If you want that just have barely starting to break down, then you can do less time. Keep tasting as you go. And now while it simmers away, I can talk about the cream. So this has the chai.
Go for it.
So I just did, this is probably, I would say like a half a cup. So
yeah,
maybe another 6 ounces. 6 ounces of cream. I love to put the tea in, I'll show you, cheesecloth. Because I could put a little bit more than my tea infuser. So I just use cheesecloth, put a teaspoon and a half, because the chai is a stronger flavor.
Quite strong.
So I didn't want to like have it like knock us over. So I did a teaspoon and a half. And it could knock us over. Let's turn this on. Oh, it's just bubbling away. You do want to keep the strawberries on a low simmer. You don't want them to be really aggressive. So, and I simmered it for about 15, 20 minutes and then tasted it.
Right.
Yeah, and I just tasted it, and it tastes, because that's important. Gotta taste your food so you can see what the flavor is that you like. And, you know, it's not going to make you ill.
I'm going to have to do this.
Oh, it's really good. Even like cold poured over the strawberries would be delicious. But in this, I think I'm gonna let it sit probably a little bit longer. It's been about 15 minutes. I think I'll let it sit a little bit longer and then mix it with cream. And then the whipped cream can go on the strawberries. It can go on scones. It can go on pound cake. It can go on waffles, wherever you want. But you can even put a spoon in your afternoon or morning coffee if you want like a little fun treat.
Yes, we've stuck to sweets. Isn't it strange that we've stuck to desserts with the tea? I don't know why we did that.
Yeah, we could do a savory though.
Yeah, we'll have to think about that after the event.
Yeah,
that'll come later.
Because speaking of sweet, you created something gorgeous with the rooibos.
The rooibos. I was really sold on the rooibos. I didn't expect to be at all, but I loved it, and I loved the fact that it was decaffeinated.
Oh yeah.
So, and it started to be my go-to cup of tea at night now, if I fancy a cup of tea. Ooh. And the other thing that is strange, following the video I did with Claire, is that I'm now drinking far more of my tea black.
Oh, I do like. Yeah.
Who knew? I know. So, anyway, the rooibos, what I did, because I was working on the Earl Grey with the Sultana and tea loaf, which didn't work out, so. But now we've moved on and we've eaten it. So I did a rooibos panna cotta, and I mean everything in my world is rather fattening but delicious, and I love it. Rather like the infusion that you just showed, the colour was just beautiful. It was like a really amber auburn colour. It was beautiful, and it's very delicate, but it's quite a long-winded. It's easy to make, so I'd encourage anybody to do it, but it's quite long-winded because you've got to wait for it to set. So I'll do that off camera, and we'll push this.
Edit it back in. Yeah, we'll add that all in. I'm just checking on my strawberries. Really good transition. So they smell gorgeous.
So are you mushing them down, or will they still stay quite whole? I can't get my words out.
It depends on how long I leave them. I'll leave them for a little bit longer because I do want to break them down more into like a compote kind of consistency, just because I think that'll be, I don't know. I just like, these would be really good on strawberry shortcake. So you could do like a combination of raw strawberries. So you could do your shortcake and then cut your shortcake in half, split the biscuit in half. And on the bottom, you could put a little bit of your chai whipped cream, or just plain whipped cream, or like a little whipped cream with like lemon zest. And then raw, just your freshly cut strawberries, a little bit of the strawberry compote with a little bit of whipped cream on top.
Or an alternative scone.
Yes,
But it was scone.
I do. I do, but
I might hop on there
I
and
do.
grab that and try it then.
Yeah, they're really good, and it's a big thing. It's
Okay.
very much a summertime. That and cobbler. So you can also make short cakes for cobbler instead. So instead of like individual, you would just put all your fruit in like a Pyrex baking dish and then top it with your biscuits or your shortcakes and then bake it. So good.
Do you have, do you do savory cobbler and sweet cobbler?
I've only seen sweet. Usually it's sweet. Usually it's a berry. So it would be like, you know, blackberries are big, strawberries, a combination. It's usually summer. Peach cobbler is huge. So no, usually I've only seen it sweet.
Because we do savory cobbler over here. If you imagine your casserole of whatever, lamb casserole or a vegetarian casserole would be nice. And then you would have your savory scones, like a cheese scone on the top.
Oh,
that's nice.
Really good. Okay, I'm gonna have to try it.
I can recommend it.
Yes, I like that.
I haven't got the numbers with me, so forgive me for that, but I will get them and I will make sure that they're posted. But it's very simple. I mixed my cream and my milk together, and you just bring it to the boil, but don't bubble it. That's the important thing, because there's nothing worse than scald, you know, it's too cooked. So, and then I put my rooibos into the cream mixture and I infused it for half an hour. I took a leaf out of Claire's book in that when she made her alcohol for her cocktail, she said that rooibos goes, the vodka she made went quite bitter after half an hour. So I actually took it out after half an hour and I strained it through a fine sieve to get the tea leaves out, because I didn't think you'd want those in the mixture.
Yeah, probably not.
Allowed it to cool down. Well, it had pretty much cooled down by that point. Back into the pan. While that's in the pan, get your leaves of gelatine into cold water, soak it for 5 to 10 minutes, out of the water, squidge out any water that's left, because you don't want to transfer that water into your panna cotta. And then you reheat your panna cotta mix, your cream mix, and you put your gelatine in, stir, make sure it's dissolved, and there's your mix. I actually put in, because I'm not mad, claggy, creamy person, so I actually put some natural yogurt in as well at that point.
Oh, that's a great
Stirred it round so you didn't get any clumps of yogurt featuring, and into your mold.
Love that.
It was really nice. I made a sort of like a berry compote to go with it, but I did manage to pick up some really nice, well, I'm hoping it's nice, rhubarb. Rhubarb.
Oh, wow.
So I might try that, or I mentioned to you, I think that I think a plum compote would go really well. Stewed plums would go really well with it. So yeah, I'll work on that, and we'll make sure that goes up for everybody to try.
Oh, perfect.
But you know, and you could make one big one for the family, so you don't have to do lots of individual ones, because that starts to get a bit stressful. Or you can just, you don't have to tip it out. You could just do it in something like that that's nice to take to the table, and put a bit of the compote on the top cold.
Oh, that
would be just as nice.
That would be really pretty. I think my strawberries.
Kitchen fairies have pinched it.
See?
Oh, those look lovely and glossy. I'm peering in as if I'm in your kitchen.
They've broken down a little bit. They've softened.
Lovely.
I think that's, now I could take them longer too, but I think I like the consistency. They're getting almost to the jammy, so you can press down.
Yeah.
Mash in there. So you could take, if you wanted them to be even more like compote, you could easily take like a masher, you know, and kind of mash them together. Like you wanted it to be.
No, I think that looks lovely.
Done.
And you're done.
Yeah. Oh, and actually we should probably, I don't want to burn my mouth, but it's good also to taste as you go, because you can also taste and see if you want to add anything else. I'll post links below for the recipes that I used for the simple syrup, for the whipped cream. I'll also post the link for the citrus olive oil cake below, and a couple of other fun recipes that would be delicious with the simple syrup and the cream.
Okay.
And then your panna cotta is also linked below as well. I will also put the link for Trumper's tea below. Oh,
hang on. Da, da, da.
So there's the, and she has so many more teas on the website, but
I know.
We'll
They're all in my cupboard.
We'll link below. Super fun. So thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to like and hit the subscribe button so you know when new episodes drop. They drop every Friday, Foodie Fridays.
Foodie Friday.
We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. So until then, cheers.